Hi, today we are going to talk about system syncing in revenue operations. Why fixing one thing can break something else. A company I worked with had a problem. Their sales cycle, it was too long. The deals were taking 90 days to close when they should have been closing in 45 to 60 days. So they did what most companies do. They pushed sales harder, more activity, more calls, more pressure to close faster. And you know what happened? The sales cycle, it got shorter and that felt great, right? Except 3 months later, the churn went through the roof. Turns out that the sales were rushing customers into deals they were not ready for. The customers who were buying before they fully understood the product. And then they got frustrated and left. They fixed one problem, but they created a bigger one. And this is what happens when you don't think in systems. You optimize one part and you break another part. You hit your number this quarter and blow up the next quarter and the quarter after. I'm Hindo. I've been a CFO for over 25 years in the Valley. And today I want to talk about system syncing in revenue operations, why it matters and how to actually do it. So let's get into it. The main content around that is system syncing. What is system syncing? System syncing is a mindset. It's a way of looking at your business as a connected whole, not as separate parts. Most companies are organized in silos. You have marketing, you have sales, you have customer support or customer success, you have finance, and each department, they have their own goals, their own metrics, their own incentives. And that might make sense for accountability, yes, but here's the problem. These departments are not actually separate. They are deeply connected. What marketing does affects sales. What sales does, it affects customer success. And what customer success does, it affects renewals. And that affects revenue. That affects churn. And it also affects how we will support marketing. We, meaning finance, will support marketing going forward. It's all one system. System syncing means understanding those connections. It means asking, if I change this thing over here, what happens over there? It means looking at the whole flow, not just looking at individual pieces. The classic example is factory. You can speed up one machine, but if the machine after it cannot keep up, you just created a pile of inventory that is sitting between them. You have not actually produced more output. You have just moved the bottleneck. Revenue operations works the same way. You cannot generate more leads, but if sales cannot handle them, let's say if you are generating more leads, but if the sales cannot handle them, then you have a problem. Customer success cannot onboard them properly, then they churn. You have to look again at the whole system. So what is the revenue system? So let me describe that for you in a little bit more detail, as at least I see it. The first thing is it starts with awareness. People need to know you exist. That is marketing sharp, content, advertising, events, whatever gets you noticed. Then comes the interest. Some of those people, they will engage with you, they'll visit your website, they'll download the content, they'll sign up for something, and now they become leads. And then you start qualifying them. Not all leads are worth pursuing. You filter them. The good ones, they become MQLs. Then they become SQLs, as we talked about in other videos. And then finally, the booking comes into play. There's a sale. A salesperson works the opportunity. They navigate the buying process. They negotiate the terms, and hopefully they close a deal. Then you have the delivery. You actually provide what you sold. Implementation, onboarding, training, whatever it takes to get the customer up and running effectively and efficiently. Then you have the customer success. The customer uses your product, they get value from it, and hopefully they become happy, and the customer success is there to help them along the journey. Finally, there is the element of retention. When the contract is up for renewal, they renew, and ideally they expand, they buy more, upgrading, adding users. And finally, then comes the advocacy. Happy customers, they refer you to other customers. They write reviews, they become case studies, which feeds back again into what? Awareness. So you see, it's a loop, not a straight line. What happens at the end affects what happens at the beginning. And every stage is connected to every other stage. A complete loop. And that is the system. And if you want to optimize revenue, you have to optimize the whole thing. Not just the pieces. It's no wonder they call it the GTM engine, the go-to-market engine. So let me talk about some of the common mistakes I see when companies don't think in systems. Mistake number one, they optimize the lead volume without considering the quality. Marketing gets measured in MQL numbers, so they lower the bar to hit their targets. Now you have what? You have lots of MQLs, but sales cannot convert them. Sales gets frustrated. Marketing hits their number, but the company, they miss revenue. Mistake number two, you push sales to close faster without considering the readiness on the part of the customer. Like the example I opened up with, right? You shorten the sales cycle, but the customers are not ready. And what happens? They churn. You have borrowed from their future. You have borrowed from the future, not their future, the future. Short-term gain, long-term pain. Mistake number three, underinvesting in customer success to hit profit targets. Finance says we need to cut costs, so we reduce the success team. Customers don't get the support they need. Churn goes up. And now you need even more new sales just to stay flat. You have made the problem worse. Mistake number four, commission structures that reward the wrong behavior. If sales are getting paid on closing and there's no clawback for churn, they have no incentive to qualify properly. They will close anyone and everyone and let customer success deal with the fallout. Mistake number five, treating departments as separate P&Ls. I've actually seen companies where marketing and sales and success, they each have their own budget and goals with no connection to each other. So each team is optimizing their piece and the overall system, they suffer. And all of these mistakes come from the same root cause, looking at one part of the system without seeing how it connects to everything else. So the important thing is to find that constraint. How do you actually apply system syncing? So let me share a concept that has been very helpful to me. It comes from this entire body of literature called the theory of constraints. And I've spoken of that several times in my book and in other videos. And the idea is very simple. Every system has a bottleneck, one place that limits the overall output. If you want to improve the system, you have to find and address that bottleneck. Improving anything else is mostly a waste of time. Think about it. If your bottleneck is that you don't have enough leads, then investing in more salespeople will not help. They will just sit around with nothing to do. You need to fix the lead problem first. Let's say if your bottleneck is that the sales cannot close the leads you have, then generating more leads won't help. You need to fix the sales problem. If your bottleneck is, let's say, the customer success that cannot onboard the customers fast enough, then closing more deals, it just creates a traffic jam. And you need to fix that onboarding process or you'll have a queue of unhappy customers. So the first step is, where is the constraint, where is the work piling up, and where is the system stuck? And often you can see it by looking at the conversion rates. If your lead to MQL rate is great, but your MQL to SQL rate is terrible, the constraint is probably not in that handoff. If your close is probably in that handoff rather. If your close rate is good, but your retention is bad, the constraint is probably in delivery or success. So keep in mind, find the constraint, focus there, don't spread your energy across everything, improve the bottleneck and the whole system improves. And make it practical. Let me give you some practical ways to apply this. First, map your revenue system. Draw it out. What are the stages? What are the conversion rates at each stage? Where does work pile up? You know, this visual map, it helps everyone see the connections. Second, measure the end-to-end, not just by stage. Yes, track the MQLs and SQLs and close rates, that's fine. But also track the full journey. What percentage of leads eventually become retained customers? What is a lead to revenue time? And these end-to-end metrics, they show you the health of the system. They don't just optimize or show you the metrics for stage health. Third, align the incentives across the system. Marketing should care about revenue, not just leads. Sales should care about retention, not just bookings. Customer success should care about expansion, not just about satisfaction scores. When everyone is aligned and their skin is in the final outcome, guess what? They naturally think more systematically. Fourth, do regular cross-functional reviews. Get marketing and sales and success and finance in a room together. Look at the whole funnel. Talk about what is working and what isn't. Where are the handoff problems? Where are we out of balance? And fifth, be careful. Be careful with local optimization. Whenever someone proposes a change, ask, what does this do to the rest of the system? If we speed this up, what happens downstream? If we cut costs here, what happens to quality over there? So the key takeaways is a short session, but the key takeaways from this video would be that there are three key things to remember. Number one, revenue operations is a connected system, not separate departments. I've written an entire book on revenue operations. What happens in marketing, they affect sales. What sales does affect success. What success does, it affects renewals. And you have to see the whole picture. Number two, every system has a constraint, one bottleneck that limits overall output. Find it, fix it, and then find the next one. Improving non-constraints do not help much. And number three, align the incentives and metrics across the system. When everyone cares about the end result, not just their piece, you make better decisions and you get better outcomes. In the next video, I'm going to go deeper on how to actually identify and manage constraints in your revenue system. I hope you like that. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.